Giovanni Guasconti comes from southern Italy to the University of Padua. He takes an apartment on the upper floor of an old mansion that once belonged to a family of nobles. He recalls one of the members of that family was among the lost souls in Dante's work Divine Comedy. Giovanni lets out a sigh due to his reminiscence and because of his discomfort to this unfamiliar place he has just moved to. Lisabetta notices this and wants to make Giovanni more comfortable.
Sir, why do you sigh? Is this mansion gloomy? Look outside at the sunshine.
Does this garden belong to you?
No, it belongs to the great Dr. Rappaccini. Rumor has it that he makes great medicines that work as well as magic. Sometimes you can see him working out there with his daughter.
Lisabetta had done her best to make Giovanni's room look more inviting and soon took her departure. Still looking out at the garden, Giovanni notices that surrounding the center of the garden are plants and flowers, some in urns bearing carvings and some in ordinary pots. One shrub in a marble vase displays beautiful purple blossoms. A tall man appears, emaciating, sallow, and sickly looking, dressed in a scholar's black garb. He examines the plants closely but does not smell them or touch them except to remove dead leaves with thick protective gloves. It is as if they are evil. When he examines a shrub with purple blossoms, he wears a mask covering his nostrils and mouth. Suddenly he draws back from it and calls for his daughter, Beatrice.
Beatrice!
Yes, Father, I am here. Are you in the garden?
Yes, and I need your help.
A beautiful young woman comes out, more striking than the most radiant of the flowers.
Come over here, Beatrice, for our greatest treasure needs much care, and I might lose my life if I approach it. I'm afraid this plant must be solemnly left to you.
Gladly will I do so. Give me your breath, my sister, and your perfumed air, which is what I thrive upon.
She then tends to the flower lovingly without wearing a mask or gloves. As evening draws on and Rappaccini and his daughter exit the scene, Giovanni considers that the girl and the garden are fraught with some strange peril. His ominous fantasies of the previous evening are gone. He thinks he is lucky to have a room that overlooks such a beautiful garden. At the university, he presents himself with a letter of introduction to Dr. Pietro Baglioni, a highly respected professor of medicine. The two of them dine together and engage in conversation enlivened by the effect of wine. Wondering whether the professor knows Rappaccini, Giovanni mentions the latter's name.
He is a great physician. He has no other rival against him, and he is a very dangerous man.
Why?
Because he cares more about his science than people. He grows poisonous plants in his garden, and I've heard from people around town that his plants and experiments have killed many people, but they've also cured many people too. And also, I've heard that he would even risk his own life for his own experiments.
What about his daughter? I'm sure he loves her.
So you have heard about Beatrice Rappaccini? Yes. All the men at Padua know very little about her. I myself know a little bit about her too, but I've heard that her father taught her so much that she is qualified to be a professor herself.
As Giovanni returned home, he pondered about his conversations with Baglioni. He happened to pass by a flower shop, so he bought a fresh bouquet of flowers. Then he returned to his room and sat by the window. He hid himself from anyone who may or may not be wandering the garden down below. Then Beatrice walks out of her house. She throws open her arms to the shrubs and embraces it so that her face is hidden behind the leaves.
Give me your breath, my sister, for the ordinary air makes me weak. And let me pluck gently a flower from your stems, which I will place close to my heart.
Giovanni notices a lizard at the feet of Beatrice, and it appears to him that a drop or two of the moisture from the broken stem caused the lizard to drop down dead.
Am I to call her beautiful or inexpressibly terrible?
Beatrice continued to wander through the garden, and Giovanni made a sudden movement in the window that drew Beatrice's eyes to him.
Signora, take these pure and healthy flowers and wear them as a gift from Giovanni.
Without thinking, Giovanni threw down the bouquet of flowers to her, which he had been holding the entire time.
Thank you, sir. I gladly accept your gift and will repay you with this purple one. But if I threw it to you, I fear it would not make it up there. So you will have to be content with my thanks.
She grabs the bouquet from the ground, but it has already started to wither in her hands. Giovanni avoids the window for the next few days. He wanders around until someone grabs his arm by the street.
Giovanni, my dear friend. Do you not remember me? I mean, I wouldn't either if I have changed that much.
Yes, I'm Giovanni. You're the professor. Now let me pass.
I did not grow up next to your father, side by side, to have his son ignore me like a stranger in the streets.
Quickly then. Can't you see I'm in a hurry?
Oh, it's Dr. Rappaccini. You see him? Has he ever seen your face before?
I don't think so.
I think he has before. The way he looks at you is the same way he looks at his animals after he examines them and kills them in one of his experiments. Trust me, Giovanni, you are the subject of one of Rappaccini's experiments.
Do you think me a fool? That is ridiculous.
No, I'm being serious. You being my dear friend, you're in great danger, and I'm worried.
Giovanni shook his head at the professor and broke away. He was gone before Baglioni could stop.
Because you're my friend's son, I will foil Rappaccini's experiments on you.
Giovanni hurries to his apartment, where he runs into Elisabetta, who smirks and smiles. Giovanni tries to ignore her, but as he walks by her, she grabs his cloak.
Sir, there's a private entrance to the garden.
What? A private entrance?
Hush, hush! Yes, Dr. Rappaccini's garden. Many young men would play gold to see these roses up close.
You must show me the way.
The plants all seemed wild and unnatural. Giovanni realized that Rappaccini must have created these strange and terrible flowers through his experiments. Suddenly, Rappaccini's daughter comes into the garden. She moves quickly among the flowers until she reaches him. Giovanni apologized for coming into the garden without an invitation, but Beatrice smiled at him and made him feel welcome.
I see you love flowers.
And yourself? I hear you can teach me more than Dr. Rappaccini himself.
Do people really say that? No, I know nothing more than their hues and perfumes.
I won't believe anything unless it comes from your lips.
No, sir, you must forget your fancies.
Giovanni smells a fragrance when she speaks. He wonders if it is her breath or the odor of the flowers. They walk through the garden as Beatrice asks him about life in the city and about himself, his home, his family, and his friends. The way she frames her questions reveals an ignorance about the world outside the garden. It is as if she has never ventured beyond the garden. They stop by the fountain before the shrub with purple flowers. Giovanni smells a fragrance like that which moments before had seemed to issue from Beatrice.
I remember you promised me one of these beautiful flowers for the bouquet which I gave you. Let me take one now.
No! Don't ever touch these flowers. They will take your life.
Hiding her face, she runs into the house. Then Giovanni sees Dr. Rappaccini standing in the garden. He thinks about her through the night and at dawn lapses into sleep. Not long afterward, a bright rising sun awakens him to pain, where Beatrice had gripped it. On his skin is a purple imprint of her fingers, but Giovanni does not make the connection between it and Beatrice. He wonders what thing injured him and wraps his hand in a handkerchief. One morning, weeks later, Professor Baglioni visits Giovanni.
Where have you been, Giovanni? You haven't been to class at the university in over a month. Is something wrong?
No, nothing is wrong. I'm fine, thank you.
My dear Giovanni, you need to stay away from Rappaccini and his daughter, for he has poisoned her since she was a little baby. Imagine what he's going to do to you if he did that to his own daughter.
Oh no.
Don't worry, it is not too late to save you and Beatrice. For you see, this metal cup right here, it has medicine inside of it that will destroy even the most powerful poison. Take this and give it to Beatrice to drink.
As Giovanni combed his hair, preparing for his daily meeting with Beatrice, he looked at himself in a mirror near his bed. He could not help noticing how handsome he was. His eyes looked particularly bright, and his face had a healthy, warm glow.
At least her poison has not gotten into my body.
As he spoke, he happened to look at some flowers he had just bought that morning. A shock of horror went through his body. The flowers were turning brown. Giovanni's face became very white. Then he noticed a spider crawling near his window. He bent over the insect and blew a breath of air at it. The spider trembled and fell dead.
I am cursed. My own breath is poisoned.
A rich, sweet voice comes floating up from the garden.
Johnny, you're late. Come down. I first drew a breath, this plant blossomed into existence, and I was nourished with its breath.
You are a monster, and with your poison you've turned me into a monster too. I'm a prisoner of this garden.
Giovanni, why are you saying these things? It's true that I can never leave this garden, but you are free to go whenever you wish.
Don't pretend like you don't know what you've done to me.
A group of insects had flown into the garden. They came toward Giovanni and flew around his head. He blew his breath at them. The insects fell to the ground, dead.
I see it, I see it. My father's science has done this to us. Believe me, Giovanni, I did not want any of these things to happen to you. I only wanted to love you.
Giovanni's anger visually changes to sadness. Then he remembers the medicine that Professor Baglioni had given to him. She put Baglioni's medicine to her lips and took a small sip. At the same moment, Rappaccini came out of the house.
My daughter, you are no longer alone in this world. Give Giovanni one of your purple flowers. My science and your love have made him different from ordinary men.
My father, why have you done these things to your own child?
What do you mean, daughter? You have power no other woman has. You could defeat your strongest enemy with your breath. Would you rather be a weak woman?
It does not matter now. I'm going where the poison you have given me will do not harm. Goodbye to you, Giovanni.
Beatrice dropped to the ground. She died at the feet of her father and Giovanni. The poison had been too much a part of the young woman. The medicine that destroyed the poison destroyed her as well. As Beatrice dies, Baglioni, who had re-entered Giovanni's apartment, calls from the window.
Rappaccini! Rappaccini! Is this the upshot of your experiment? Is this matching glue to you? Diego, you got me dead. Oh my goodness.
No! Here you go.
Bro! Pretty well.
Alright, now say it right.
This is a great physician. No other rival can top. Wait. We can. I knew it, but I just didn't know how to like say it. No little. He has no other rival against him.
You're saying he's a dangerous man, and then I say why?
Why? Oh, so you have heard about Beatrice Rappaccini. Yeah, she is a very splendid woman. Every man all the men at Poitou, like, I don't know the rest. Don't worry, it is not too late to save you and Beatrice, for... Don't worry, it is not too late to save you and Beatrice. For, wait, what's the next...
Sir, there's a secret entrance to the garden. You gotta like slap it so like they can hear if you just grab hands. Wait, how's my hair look? Does it look stupid?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yes, Dr. Rappaccini's daughter. Many young men would play.
Wait, what?
Daughter. Garden.
Hush! Hush!
Thank you.
Giovanni, you're the professor. No, I forgot the rest of it.
Go.
I did not grow up side by side next to your father for his son to ignore me like a stranger in the streets.
Quickly then. Can't you see I'm in a hurry?
Look, it's Dr. I did not grow up side by side next to your father to have his son ignore me like a stranger in the streets.
Quickly then. Can't you see I'm in a hurry?
Look, it's Dr. Rappaccini.
No.
I don't think so.
I can see that like.
You are the subject of one of his experiments.
You take me a fool? That is ridiculous.
I forgot my own line.
No, I'm.
Subject of one of Rappaccini's experiments.
Do you take me a fool? That is ridiculous.
No, I'm being serious. My great friend, you're in great danger.
You smile so big.
What are you laughing at? Like, you are one of Rappaccini's experiments. Shoot. You're the subject.
Sure,
and
sure,
whatever.
sure. Keep going.
Remember, you once promised me one of these beautiful flowers. You were okay, which I gave you. Take one now. Thank you, sir. I would repay you.
Remember you promised me one of these beautiful flowers for the bouquet which I gave you. Remember you promised me one of these flowers for the promised me one of these beautiful flowers for the bouquet which I gave you. Let me take one now.
Home. Are you at home?
Find empty, okay?
No dog.
Hello? Hello? Anyone home? Hello?
Did I finish mine?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, but it's gotta be like when you fall down, it's like a You have power no other woman has. You can.
Oh.
What do you mean, daughter? You have power no other woman has. What do you mean, daughter? You have.
So you will have to be content with my thanks. Wow. Wow, that's Oscar worthy. I'm in